Hello, America. This is Kat, and welcome to my channel, Speak Truth to Lies. So, shout out to my boy Brandon Tatum. I bought this up from his store. It says Black, White, American. Just had to put that out there. If you don't know who Brandon Tatum is, I will post a link in the description of the video. Today, I'm going to be sharing an article with you about critical race theory. North Carolina's first Black lieutenant governor leads fight against radical curriculum. The system of government that we have in this nation is not systemically racist. In fact, it is not racist at all. So this article addresses critical race theory, which I've made quite a few videos, which I'm hoping will arm you with enough knowledge to be able to stand up and fight against this curriculum that's already coming to our schools. Unfortunately, it's reached Ann Arbor. I just found a thread on Twitter last night, and it has infiltrated Ann Arbor public school system, not the colleges, because I'm also going to share another website with you that I will link in the description below, which will be able to tell you where you can find it and what college and universities it's already at, so that you can guard your hearts and your minds against this thing that is critical race theory that is seeking to destroy our nation as a whole. So let's get into this. North Carolina's newly elected Republican lieutenant governor is leading the fight against a statewide social studies curriculum that would weave critical race theory into history lessons beginning in kindergarten. Mark Robinson, the first African-American to hold his position, has been an outspoken critic of the new curriculum standards, which he says were created because of the Board of Education's political agenda rather than to educate students. So remember what I said, they're not looking to educate our kids. They are looking to create little social justice warriors who hate everything that this country stands for, and they are trying to inject racism into all aspects of American culture. Mark Robinson, the first hold this position, has been an outspoken critic of the new curriculum standards, which he says were created because of the Board of Education's political agenda rather than to educate students. The curriculum would require second graders, people, to learn how various indigenous, religious, gender, and racial groups, remember, it's all about group identity, advocate for freedom and equality, while fourth graders would learn how to revolution, reform, and resistance shaped North Carolina. So they're looking to create little political activists as early as elementary school, second grade. I don't think that these things that that have been included have been for the benefit of the students, Robinson said during a school board meeting in late January. There's no reason why we should be trying to teach second graders about the complex issues of race. Those children have enough on their plate learning how to read and write, and do mathematics. So I want you to think about this for a moment. When we're little, and you can see this when you watch children play on a playground, when we're little, we don't look at things like that. We just recognize, oh, there's another kid and we want to play, and they'll play with me. And that's all they care about. They're talking about injecting the concept of race into little second graders, to literally be able to teach second graders how to spot the differences in their fellow classmates. Robinson is working to build an opposition to the curriculum, which he characterizes as divisive and anti-American. In a petition that by Wednesday afternoon had nearly 30,000 signatures, he argued that the courses are designed to indoctrinate our students against our great country. And he's not wrong, okay? He's not wrong. That is exactly what they're looking to do. They're looking to indoctrinate our kids and turn them into little activists. North Carolina's Education Board began revising old curriculum standards in April of 2019. They were slated to pass updated standards last summer until board member James Ford, an outspoken supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, halted the process and asked for more specific language to identify marginalized groups to study. Okay, so remember, marginalized groups, group identity. They want to divide you in race, gender, sexual orientation. At one point in the draft process, the standards included teaching students as young as kindergarten about systemic racism and gender identity. Now, I don't know about you, but there are no kindergartners. Gender, what is gender? Okay, they don't need to be learning about this in kindergarten. While the Education Board edited the words systemic and gender out last month, opponents of the changes say the tone of the standards remains, still suggests that the United States is inherently racist. I would still need to know how racism minus systemic, how identity minus gender is contextualized in the objectives, said Dr. Olivia Oxendine, a member of the state's education board since 2013. Just removing words doesn't change the intent of the objectives. As long as the objective is teaching students that the United States is a racist nation, Robinson says, he will not approve. Good for him. Good for him. He shouldn't, and neither should you. Okay? Teaching young children to hate this country rather than focusing on the things that happened in the past and what we have done and the laws put in place to overcome those things and the progress that we have made since is what needs to be taught. What they want to do is label everything that America stands for racist, abolish the Constitution because they hate America, and pit race against race, gender against gender, group identity politics. It creates division. It doesn't create unity. So good for this man for standing up. The system of government that we have in this nation is not systemically racist. In fact, it's not racist at all, he said. To say that this is a racist nation, that is not true. And when we write standards that point to that direction in any way, we are doing our students a disservice. Under the proposed curriculum standards, high school students taking American history would learn how to explain how slavery, xenophobia, disenfranchisement, and intolerance have affected individual and group perspectives of themselves as Americans, and to compare how some groups in America's society have benefited from economic policies while other groups have been systemically denied the same benefits. So what we're talking about here right now, what we're talking about here is privilege, white privilege. This thing going around. Instead of focusing on socioeconomic privilege, class privilege, these things are real. Or how slavery, xenophobia, and disenfranchisement have affected individual, more like group perspectives. They're looking at groups. They're not looking at the individuals because not all individuals experience these things the same way. Terry Stoops, the director of the Center for Effective Education, said that the new standards fail to balance the study between individual and common identity. We need to get rid of common identity. No ethnic group is a monolith, okay? This is about individuals, and no two individuals experience the world the same, especially no group. He argued those who oppose the standards don't fear addressing the dark sides of America's past, but rather object to making bigotry the middle, beginning, and end of the American story. So this is the thing with critical race theory and viewing America as systemically racist. So they want to focus on all the negatives that America has incurred over its founding, which is only 245 years. So we're a relatively young country. They just want to focus on the negativity. They don't want to focus on the great strides that we have made to overcome these things and that we're still working on overcoming. They just want to focus on that and make that the common focal point. Objection to standards is not that they highlight disturbing parts of our history, but that they fail to balance between good, bad, evil, and righteous, Stoops told the Washington Free Beacon. America's history reflects both of these extremes. And the standards, as they are written, prefer to talk about one side of American story and fail to highlight the common good, the need for national unity, and the idea that we can be a common nation and share common ideals while still being individual groups. Okay, so America's history does reflect both, okay? But they only want to talk about the negative side. They don't want to highlight any of the good things that America has accomplished or achieved. Robinson faced backlash for opposing the new standards. A local news station on Tuesday, okay, so this in North Carolina, a local news station published a political cartoon depicting Robinson and other Republican opponents of the curriculum changes as members of the Ku Klux Klan. This is a Black man opposing these. And they published this cartoon depicting him as such. If you want to know where the true racists lie, you are looking at the Democrat Party. They published this because he opposes this curriculum. It's something to think about. On the second day of Black History Month, okay, so he's the first Black lieutenant governor of North Carolina has been portrayed as a racist, Robinson said, criticizing the idea that anyone would portray a Black man just because he's in the GOP as a Klansman. So what I need you to understand is these are extreme leftists, far left-leaning liberals. So anything to the right of them is considered right-wing extremists. Even if you are fairly moderate and you're just, I uphold the ideals of the Constitution, I believe in free speech, I believe in equality, you're considered a right-wing extremist. And in this man's case, who happens to be the first Black lieutenant governor of North Carolina, he's considered a KKK member. Though Robinson has a seat on the board as lieutenant governor, he is likely fighting an uphill battle against the standards. A majority of voting members were appointed by North Carolina's Democratic governor, Roy Cooper. The Board of Education will vote on implementing the new curriculum standards on Thursday. You may listen to Robinson's full remarks at the end of the Board of Education meeting here, and I will post this link in the description below this video. So one of the other things I want to share with you before, and this link will be located in the video as well, is this is criticalrace.org. Someone started this page, I'm not sure who, but whoever did it is brilliant. Okay, so if you want to find out critical race training in education, okay, all you have to do is click a state. This is Michigan. So this is where we're located right now. So if you click on this, you are going to see a list of universities and colleges in Michigan that have injected critical race training into their curriculum. So I had someone tell me at one point that they don't need to worry about their kids because they're grown. But you do. Because if they're going to any of these colleges and universities and they're learning about this, they're going to come home with these ideas, these ideals, and this is designed to tear families apart. So if you don't agree with them, they are taught to reject you. So this isn't just about our little kids. This is about our grown children, okay? We've seen it in the news in regards to the events on January 6th, where college-age kids were turning in their parents for just being at the Capitol, okay, to hear President Trump speak. Turning in their parents, and their parents are losing their jobs and losing job offers. This is what critical race theory does. So if you think you are exempt from it, I need you to think again. This is already happening at a university level, but they're wanting to get our babies. And I implore with you that if you are raising children to not judge other people by what they see and judge people compassionately based off of how you treat them, and this comes into their schools, they are not going to look at their classmates the same. They're using intersectionality to divide children as oppressed or oppressor. So if you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're a Black or Hispanic child, you're oppressed. What do you think this is going to do to little minds? Do you think it's going to empower them? Do you think that it's going to help them in any way? Because if you think that that's what's going to happen, I would recommend you read some psychology books. This is brainwashing. It's not okay. It's especially not okay to do to our young. These are our children. And if we are raising well-adjusted, amazing little human beings who go out into the world and treat other kids and other human beings with dignity and respect, then you need to oppose this all the way. You need to know what to look for, and you need to stop it before it starts. Go to your school board meetings, talk to your legislation, blow their phones up, blow their emails up, and tell them, no, you reject critical race theory being taught to your kids. Okay? I realize this is a lot to deal with. It's not all negative. People are fighting back, which is a good thing. But I am just trying to bring you knowledge so that you understand that we have a fight ahead of us, especially to protect the minds and hearts of not just our young children, but our college age kids as well. They might not be able to get away from it completely, but make sure that you equip them with enough knowledge to know how to push back against it. Like my channel title implies, speak truth to lies. When you hear this nonsense, speak and push back against it. Until next time, my friends, remember, hypocrisy is everywhere. Speak truth to lies.